My name is Joy Acaso and I'm a working mom's coach. I'm on a mission to help working moms overcome the overwhelming. In this week's video, I'll be answering questions about some of the things that we're trying to grasp as a society with the difference between depression and simple overwhelm. First of all, if you are going through these kinds of thoughts and feelings, let me just say that there is nothing wrong with you. This is something that I'm very passionate about, having worked with women and families for so many years. I know that, first of all, it's very difficult for someone who is going through depression to explain that to another person. In addition to that, it's also difficult for a parent whose child is going through a depression to understand, how to help that child or even make sense of those thoughts and feelings that they are going through. There are differences and similarities between depression and overwhelm. I know that as a society, we like to use the term depression loosely. I admit to that. Know that when something happens to us, we're like, oh, this is so depressing, or I'm so depressed right now, right? But in therapy, we use a certain specific criteria for diagnosing depression. If you are going through feelings of sadness, overwhelming helplessness and hopelessness, and it's been 2 weeks of that kind of feeling, then there might be depression there. If you have irritability, if you've lost pleasure or interest in pleasurable activities, if your sleep pattern has changed, whether you're sleeping less or sleeping more, or eating more or eating less, your appetite has changed, then that is also something to be looked at. With depression, I know that I've had clients in the past who's told me that the loss of interest in pleasurable activities is very real. Even like for a woman, even like getting a mani and pedi becomes a chore. And it's very hard when you're in a depressive state. It's very hard to find motivation or energy. According to statistics, working moms spend about 80 hours on household chores per week. Now imagine that after having worked for 40 hours, throughout the week, and then you have to add 80 hours onto that. And then out of every 4 women cry out of overwhelm. So the sense of overwhelm and exhaustion is very real for working moms. Now the difference is that when you are overwhelmed, you can still kind of think clearly and look for solutions, right? And that if you just took 5 minutes to sit down and recollect your thoughts, then you're able to go back into what you're doing. Or if you know that if you took a power nap, that's another thing to energize you. So when you are feeling overwhelmed, there is still some kind of energy and motivation that you find in yourself, and you haven't lost, all sense of hope. However, I do also please do realize that when you are overwhelmed and you don't take necessary steps to cope with that or deal with that, it could easily turn into depression. So what are the next steps if you are feeling overwhelmed or depressed, I always say that it's never too early or too late to seek help. Coaching or therapy, whatever it may be, having that objective and professional insight can only help you and not harm you. I know that in coaching, I always tell my clients, we do hard work in coaching. It is not some kind of advice that your friends can give you. We do hard work. We set our intentions towards a certain direction when we do coaching. I remember having a client once before who was well-versed and even more well-versed than me when it came to yoga and meditation and working out and staying healthy and things like that. But she was starting to deal with a new stressor in her life, and she needed professional help and insight, and someone who can walk her through what was going on and what she was feeling and what she was thinking. And so the coaching for her provided the accountability that she needed. So I want to let you know, I get all clients from all walks of life and in both spectrums, people who have never thought of doing stress relief methods, and there's people who have been doing it for years but are now needing more insight and accountability in their situation. Please feel free to let me know if there are questions that I missed or things that you want clarity on. My email is in the link below, and my calendar is open for you to just give me a call if you're interested in having that free consult, and I can direct you to the kind of help that you need. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.